All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays. We're going to take a look at the markets. Everything is pumping this morning, and we will use the charts to guide us as usual. Let's go right over to screen share. No announcements, but check out my Twitter. Lots of political stuff going on. Minneapolis is burning down. I don't really want to comment on the politics. I don't really want to take away from my mission, nor get my Twitter or YouTube channel banned for something unrelated to what I actually do. So let's keep it to that. On my website, of course, you can check out the latest videos. And if you want to support, please check out the affiliate page. All right, there you go. I gotta get my Amazon gear back in there. Okay, let's go to the charts. I'm gonna briefly mention Bitcoin, but I do want to talk about the S&P 500. This needs to update, so I don't really want to talk about this chart right now because this is way higher at the moment. But this only updates like 12 hours from now, or like 6 hours from now, or something, or 7. But the general picture is the same. This is a weekly scale, and the week is not yet over. Let's look at the live look of the weekly chart. As you can see, we are still on an 8 weekly, and we are once again approaching the resistance line. Now, the longer we stay at the resistance line, the higher the probability that we will break above this resistance line. But don't forget, prior to me adjusting this resistance line, it was right here at the top of these candles, which meant that about 3 months ago, we starting in late January or early February, we would have hit this line 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I had to adjust the line to only hit it once in order not to break my rules of breaking bodies of candles. So if we go and touch this line one more time this week, it means that we're going to go up to 96. We could also go way above 96 as long as we don't close Sunday above 96. And I can maybe adjust this line a little bit higher, but I'm starting to run out of real estate there. Next week is a potential top, according to momentum indicators. Okay, it's a momentum top. So you have to be careful. But we have to wait till this weekend. Today is only Thursday. We still have 3 full days to go. But right now, everyone is giddy and bullish looking at moon. And the other interesting part is we are still in this symmetric triangle, though I did draw it prematurely. However, if we do go up a little bit more between today and tomorrow, and we do get to 96.50, that could be a potential rejection and a reversal in price, keeping us within this triangle. It doesn't mean that we can't break out, but it does mean that I am still being very cautious until I see a clean break of the trend line. Now, at the same time, I don't want to repeat, though it'll likely to happen, a repeat of this. As you can see, I was very cautious at this breakout because while I was bullish the breakout itself, I do like the indicators. And the indicator said, hey, this week momentum should end. But the week was massive, and then momentum did end, but it consolidated. It never actually pulled back, okay? Because trading is not easy. Neither is analytics. So this is the same exact situation. It's not exactly reminiscent as this. We did like consolidate for a full month or 2 months before the breakout. We didn't exactly consolidate for 2 months before the breakout. We're only consolidating for 1 month before the breakout. And this consolidation is pretty volatile. It's between 8,500 and 10,000. So that's a pretty volatile consolidation. Anyway, if the breakout is happening next week, it would create a little bit of a dilemma based on my analysis, the way I do it. But the break of the trend line is a break of a trend line, and the break of prior swing high is a break of the prior swing high. I'm not going to deny that. Let's go over to the daily chart. Now, the daily chart just gave us a green 2 above a green 1. that is normally a very bullish situation. But considering that we are stuck at resistance on a weekly scale and we are ending momentum on a weekly scale, I would remain cautious, and I have not yet bought into either GBTC or QBTC, the Canadian version of it. I have not yet. I might buy into them later on if we're breaking 10K, but I have not yet bought into them. Now, at the same time, we were supposed to cover the fact that GBTC is buying up, more Bitcoin than miners are producing at the moment. We're supposed to cover that on the last news show. We are planning to bring you a news show later today, and we will cover it on that show. That is a very, very bullish fundamental scenario. Very bullish fundamental scenario. Okay, I wouldn't call that a news event. It's a borderline news event and a fundamental event, but that is a fundamental event. If you know, of course, now that everyone knows it, the FOMO can help drive Bitcoin higher. But knowing that GBTC is buying up the majority of the Bitcoin is basically telling everyone, hey, there's not enough supply of Bitcoin. The stock to flow model is clearly showing its prowess, I would say, in the fact that there's more demand for Bitcoin at the moment than supply, which is good, which is very good. And it can definitely send Bitcoin higher. Look, like I've been saying since these lows, I am now a bull. I am looking for pullbacks when it starts to get out of control, but I am generally a bull. This is not the time for me to, load up and prepay a bunch of bills. This is the time to hodl. This is the time to hodl. Buy all dips. It may be difficult to time some of these dips, but this is the time to buy all dips. The capitulation has ended. Now, there's one more factor here, and that is the S&P 500. And it's a pretty significant factor. So two things on the S&P 500. First of all, Bitcoin is rallying with the S&P. The S&P has not yet pulled back since March. So we don't know what Bitcoin is going to do if the S&P craters, which I expect it to crater. Now, yesterday, at this time when I was making this video, I was watching this candle like getting crushed. And that's why I said, hey, I think the S&P 500 topped. However, I also said that it's very easy to know that when I'm wrong, and that's if we break today's high. And we broke that high later that day. So I was wrong within hours, which as a trader is not a problem, because this is why you have stop losses. However, there's a couple of things I need to point out that I actually wasn't paying attention to yesterday. So first of all, I did know that the top is very likely to also come today. I just didn't expect yesterday to rally the second half of the day. I kind of thought this candle would be lower than that candle. So today is still a reasonable top. But there's also another very significant component that I just wasn't paying attention to. And this is why you guys are watching this for educational purposes and not any kind of trading advice. And here it is. This is the futures market. This is the cash market. See the difference? Okay, you see the difference? See the difference in counts? There's a reason for that I wasn't really paying attention to. And the reason is that the futures market has an extra day. The futures market has May 25th because the futures were open. The cash market does not have May 25th. There was a holiday. That day is skipped. The cash market is probably more important than the futures market, even though I like the futures market because it has a cleaner flow and less gaps. And when I do these videos outside of stock market hours, I don't have any candles here, but I have candles here. So that's why, because all of last month, I was doing these videos pre-market open because I was actively trading, so I had to stop before market opens. At the moment, I've stopped trading in order to enjoy my mornings and my days. And now that I'm not actively trading, I am doing these videos during market open. So I don't need to look at the futures market anymore. And based on the cash market, the counts are very different. And therefore, the top, I'm still looking at this top. I am still looking at the top either today or tomorrow or Monday. I'm still looking for a top in the S&P in this vicinity. I still don't believe it's going to break this Fibonacci line at 3,100. I'm still looking for a pullback. But at the same time, I still have my long exposure that I haven't gotten out yet because the market is still moving. I still have a few trades. There's very few trades, but they are bullish trades. And I sold covered calls against them as well for June. Okay. Tomorrow is a Friday and the end of the month. Yes. So that's a big candle. Tomorrow is it's not the end of the quarter, but it is the end of the month. And it's end of the week, and end of day, end of week, end of month, all on the same day. Very critical candle. A lot of options expiring that day too. So so be aware that I'm still looking for a top here. Just because it didn't top yesterday and had a big rally doesn't mean this top isn't coming. And I would really like this top. If we top tomorrow, I really don't want to enter any short positions because I don't want to, get stuck watching the market. I'd rather be more productive. And however, it really depends on how the market looks tomorrow. But yes, I am looking for a top today, tomorrow, or the following day. Now, looking for a top doesn't mean the market's going to top. I'm not a big fan of breaking this trend line, this resistance line, I should say. Not a fan of breaking this resistance line. That usually implies higher prices. This usually leads to a 1 to 4 candle pullback and then entering another wave to the upside. Okay, gold. As I said yesterday, I was not giving up on gold. The chart pattern on gold still looked bullish. Even though we had a red 2 going below a red 1, I was very biased towards gold, even though I exited my long trade 2 days ago. A little bit above break even. I took a bunch of my profit here, and then I took the rest down, when this red candle was starting to form. And right here, we are still bullish. Thank you for watching, by the way. I'm looking at 700 live viewers. My live viewers are down from when I was making these videos at, 8:30 in the morning, Eastern time. So I might go back to that time period only because of the higher live view counts. It's possible that it's Australia. Australia is my third biggest viewership market, and I'm very conscious of when Australia is awake. But right now, it's a little too late for those in Australia. So though doing these videos at 8:30 in the morning is a little too early for the people in California. So I will, I'll see. I'll play around with what time these videos start. Starting at 11 a.m. is perfect for me, but 11 a.m. Eastern time, everyone is in different time zones, including myself. I'm always in different time zones. But my computer always runs on Eastern time, no matter where I am in the world. So I always speak on New York stock market hours time. And yeah, so these videos may go back to being earlier for convenience, for globalization. So we're back above my original, breakout line. It was disappointing that we fell back below it, but I'm still bullish on gold. I'm still bullish on gold. And if it's a little dangerous to enter on Friday, especially the Friday of the last day of the month. But if we are pumping in gold tomorrow, I would continue to be bullish gold. I'm still bullish gold. I still think it can challenge the all-time high. Silver is probably rallying as well. Silver is a lot cleaner chart, a lot cleaner. Oil is not really rallying much. I think oil will turn down. But once again, I am looking for the stock market to top. I'm looking at the futures again. I am looking for the stock market to top over the next 3 trading days, including today. That's where I'm looking for a top. Okay. GBTC premium is still relatively high, but it's starting to come down a little. Yeah, and Bitcoin is pumping, which is great. Okay, any questions? Let me see. I don't know if I have anybody doing questions. I got to pull out your live chat. I haven't even done that yet. I haven't seen it at all. Pop out chat. Yeah, guys, please like, please subscribe, please support by heading over to the affiliate page. I also have, my on-demand videos that you are welcome to purchase to help you learn how to trade. The mempool is a little congested right now. If you want your transaction in a reasonable fashion, you may want to use, 60-ish Satoshis per byte, which is a little expensive. I like sticking to the 20 to 30 Satoshis per byte to get my transactions in the next block or two. Right now, you may have to use close to 50 to 60 to get it in a reasonable fashion. A descending triangle consolidation on gold. Guys, I tried looking at triangles on gold. I don't see it. I don't see it. Tone, what are your thoughts on China's digital currency and how do you think the US will react? Will this affect Bitcoin? No. Well, yeah, it'll affect Bitcoin. It'll drive more demand for Bitcoin. Remember, anytime a country tries to eliminate physical cash, it helps Bitcoin. Remember, China is not building you a decentralized cryptocurrency. That's impossible. They even if they wanted to, they can't. That's not how you build decentralization. So all China's doing is eliminating physical cash. I don't know why they have to create a new currency to eliminate physical cash. It's the inefficiency of government. It's the inefficiency of government. There's no reason for the US to create a digital dollar. All they have to do is stop printing physical dollar bills and they have a digital dollar. Like there's no need to waste resources and tax money to build a new currency when you have a digital currency. China is no different. There's absolutely no reason to create a new digital currency. It's just a waste of government resources. They just want to eliminate physical cash. That's all it is. And when you eliminate physical cash, you generate demand for digital cash, which is Bitcoin, because it's decentralized. Oh, I do have 1,000 live viewers. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, my other page is terrible at showing me how many are watching. Thank you, guys. Can fees be used as an indicator of price tops? Not really, because fees can always go higher. I mean, there's really no upper limit to fees. Bitcoin fees could reach $1,000 to send a Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin fees could reach $1,000 to send $10. Like there's no upper bound. If so, you can't use it. They're but when the fees go up, that means demand for Bitcoin is rising. And if demand for Bitcoin is rising, obviously the price will rise. So if demand for X is rising, the price of X will rise, unless that X, gets produced infinitum, which Bitcoin doesn't. Tone, any read on Joe's Trader BTC USD order book? Guys, I'm sorry. I don't have the time to, I don't really trade. I don't have the time to trade Bitcoin. So I need to have Joe on. Like I can't talk about Joe Saz's Trader, which isn't even his, right? He's a user of it like you guys. So I have to bring him on to talk about it. Like I don't have comments. I mean, maybe if TRDR Trader allows me the same tools as TradingView does, I can switch to do my podcast using Trader instead of TradingView. That could be a potential for the future. But at the moment, I would need Joe Saz for that. If one day Bitcoin goes to 100,000 or 200,000, would the commission to pay for a transaction be very high or still acceptable value? It depends. Probably it will be high to send on-chain Bitcoin transactions. And this is why you need to learn how to use Lightning. And I also need to learn how to use Lightning better. Bitcoin, well, in order for Bitcoin to stay decentralized, it has to scale with second layer solutions. It cannot stay decentralized and have infinite on-chain scaling. Like it doesn't work. It won't work. It's impossible. Therefore, the transaction fee will rise. And you want the transaction fee to rise because how else will miners profit enough to keep securing the network with hash power? Because the reward is going to keep going down. This is a very, this is like a natural occurring system with checks and balances all over. But yes, if Bitcoin is going to 100,000, of course the fees will go up in price. There's another element to this that people just don't understand. And that is the Bitcoin fee is denominated in Bitcoin. So think about it. Right now, one Bitcoin is $10,000. Your fee is denominated in Satoshis per byte. I just sent a transaction today using like 15 Satoshis per byte, and it cost me 31 cents. Or maybe let's say, let's use round numbers, right? Let's say and by the way, just because you're sending a transaction, like if I send a transaction at 20 Satoshis per byte, and you send this transaction at 20 Satoshis per byte, the cost of that transaction could differ between you and I, because your transaction could be heavier than mine or lighter than mine. So there is a lot of nuances here, and this is why understanding Bitcoin show is badly needed to discuss all this. And I should probably cut the camera to kind of talk about this, though we are looking at the price of Bitcoin, so I'll leave it. Look, this way you don't have to look, you can just look at it on my screen if you're watching the price of Bitcoin. So when your transaction is denominated in Satoshis per byte, and right now I'm sending a transaction at 20 Satoshis per byte, and it cost me 50 cents to send it. It cost me less than that, but I'm just using round numbers. Think about it. If the price of Bitcoin goes to $200,000 from $10,000, that is a 20x rise in the price of Bitcoin. You multiply it by 20. 10,000 times 20, you get 200,000. So what does that mean? That means that my transaction at 20 Satoshis per byte that cost me 50 cents has to go up by 20 times because the lowest unit that it's priced in has gone up 20 times. So that transaction has suddenly gone from 50 cents. What's 50 times 20? That is $10. That transaction went up by $10. And that is without additional usage of Bitcoin. That is strictly from the fact that the value of Bitcoin has gone up. So the usage of Bitcoin can stay exactly the same, and your fee can go up 20 times if the value of Bitcoin goes up 20 times. And this is something people just don't understand. And it's absolutely critical to understanding Bitcoin fees. And this affects every other shitcoin as well. You see, Bcash, or Bitcoin Cash, as some people like to call it for confusing the market, they don't have this problem because their shitcoin is worthless. So the lowest unit of Bcash, known as the Ver, V-E-R, that unit is right now 8 times cheaper than 1 Satoshi. So by default, even if people used that shitcoin, their fee would instantly be 8 times smaller than Bitcoin's because the value of their lowest denominating unit of that fee is 8 times smaller. So if Bitcoin goes up 20x in price and the nightmare that won't die, Bcash, goes up, say, 3 times in price during that time, the Bitcoin fee jumps from 50 cents to $10. The shitcoin fee jumps from 3 cents times 3 to 9 cents. They're out there screaming that they have cheap transactions, but A, no one's using it. And B, they have a cheap, insecure, centralized fiat currency. Jimmy made the argument that they have a fiat currency. I'm sympathetic to that argument. I probably shouldn't call it a fiat currency. It's so far it has a 21 million cap on the number of Bcash, but let's put it this way: 21 million Bitcoin is pretty sacred. I don't expect that to change. If I expected 21 million Bitcoin to change, I would not be hodling Bitcoin. But I have no confidence whatsoever that Bcash will not have more than 21 million Bcash, because I see it as a centralized system that can change the rules if it wants to. But you have to understand units. You have to understand units and the units that Bitcoin transactions are priced in. Can't explain that detailed enough ever. Okay, let's see what else we got. Someone asked me how many Twitter followers did I pick up this month. That's a good question. I don't really know. I think I picked up a decent amount because of that halving show. Maybe I can check my analytics real quick if I knew how to do that. Analytics, here we go. I'm curious myself how many Twitter followers I picked up this month. So in the last 28 days, I picked up almost 2,000 Twitter followers. So hopefully by end of this weekend, I'll pick up 2,000. So I picked up about 2,000 Twitter followers this month. And last month in April, I picked up more. Wow. So in April, I picked up 4,200 followers. But also in April, I had my battle with my YouTube channel being blocked. So that probably helped a lot. And in March, I picked up 2,500. Yeah, so wow. So this month, I picked up less than the last 2 months. I guess I'm slowing down. But yes. So that's my Twitter stats. On my YouTube stats, not that you guys care, but someone asked. I guess someone cares. Let me see. How do I even... God, I hate the new YouTube. You can't tell anything. Okay, YouTube Studio and Analytics. Once it loads. And then I have some more questions. All right, Analytics. Let's see. Last 28 days, from April 30th till yesterday, I picked up 2.7 thousand YouTube subscribers. So at this rate, I need 2 more months to break 100,000. So hopefully by end of July, this channel will finally break 100,000 viewers. But this month is also unfair because I picked up like over 1,000 of them on one day on that epic live stream. So I may want to check the last 90 days, the last 3 months. Or I can check the prior month. I can check April. I can check how many I picked up in April. Yeah, see, in April, I only picked up 1.8. And in March, I picked up less than 1,000. So yeah, so it might take longer. It might take longer. So in March, I picked up 1,000. In April, I picked up 1.5. And in this month, I picked up like 2.7. But like I said, this month's an exception because of the halving. But hopefully we'll get there. Maybe by September, we'll get to 100K. Okay, questions. Tone, do you go long any stocks in retirement accounts for 20 years? No, I don't. I do not. I do not believe in long-term buy and hold. I probably should have with Tesla. I've been talking about being bullish on Tesla since this channel started. That probably should have been the stock. But no, I don't do that. But I probably should just go long some names. I think once I'm confident that the stock market starts its bullish run again, I probably will. I also like to diversify. I'd rather be long the NASDAQ 100 than a single name. But if there was a name I'm high on, it's definitely Tesla. Tone, if one day, oh yeah, I already answered that. Thank you for the question about the fees. I think that was very, very important. Okay. So let's go with the other questions. When you enter an options position, do you buy all calls puts out of the money, or do you hedge your position within the money as well? So these are very specific questions that I can't get into on this channel. But this is why I teach a 3-day options course. I talk about all the advantages of buying in the money calls, out of the money calls, at the money calls. Your question is literally a 1 hour to 2 hour answer because it's not simple. And this is why there is a 3-day options course on my channel. It's not cheap, but it's there. And if you're curious about like testimonials from people that took the channel, I have a Telegram group for those interested in my future options classes. And most of the people in that group have also attended my other ones, and they will be happy to say if they got benefit out of it. And so far, I've never had a single complaint. If people take my courses and they start complaining about them, I will stop teaching those courses, guys. The only reason why my products are still available for sale is because my, I guess, customer satisfaction rate is close to Bitcoin's uptime. I just don't get complaints. If I got complaints about the products I offer, I would immediately stop. It's all about the value that I provide. So keep that in mind. Tone, if everyone, assuming Wall Street, jumps in over the counter, this will never reflect in price. All these institutions still waiting for average Joes to start pressing green buttons on the spot market. Well, not exactly, right? Because the OTC people that go in the OTC market to buy Bitcoin, they're buying it from people that want to sell Bitcoin. And people that want to sell Bitcoin will usually sell Bitcoin regardless. They would prefer to sell it OTC because they can get a better price without crashing the market. But if OTC buying stops, then the people that are still interested in selling will sell on the exchanges in the open market, which will drop the price of Bitcoin. So keep that in mind as well, that you want those OTC buyers buying in stealth. And also the OTC buyers buying it in stealth and not going in the open market doesn't swing the price higher. So there is a lot of benefit to the OTC market keeping the Bitcoin price stable. If there was no OTC market, the Bitcoin price would probably be more volatile. But I can also make the opposite argument. If there was no OTC market, the exchanges would be a lot more liquid. And with more liquidity comes less crashes like this and less, 3-day FOMOs or 3-hour FOMOs like this. This is 4-hour candles here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then swinging into a fifth. So that's in less than 1 day. So this is 1 day. So and in 1 day we moved from about 77 all the way to 94. So so there could be a less volatility on exchanges. So, but there's no need to speculate, right? The OTC market exists. It is very vibrant. It is it is pretty regulated, to be honest with you, if you really want major deals. And it's good that it's there because it gives people an option to not to deal with bullshit on some of the unregulated exchanges. Okay. Tone, what's your opinion on USDT USDT Treasury printing money and doing good for Bitcoin. They're not printing money, guys. I know Bitfinex is on his. So if I go to CoinMarketCap, and I know there are other websites, but Tether is now number 3. And it's only a matter of time before Tether is number 2. It's a matter of time. And it's funny, if I tweeted out the other day a clip from a video from like 4 years ago when Tether was like number 20 or number 30. And I was joking how Tether will one day go into the second position. And it was really funny at the time because no one believed it. But I saw this coming. Because Tether doesn't like print money out of thin air, as far as I know, unless there's evidence otherwise. Like this $35 billion is supposed to be sitting somewhere. Oh, sorry, that's volume. My bad. This $8.8 billion is supposed to be sitting at a bank somewhere. It's supposed to be sitting at a bank. Unless someone can prove that it's not sitting at a bank, they're not printing anything, right? They're creating you a digital dollar. That's all Tether is. It's a digital representation of a dollar. Now, they did say that they got scammed for like a third of that money. And I'm not sure how they're going to make up for a third of this money. I have no idea, right? So the 8.8 billion is probably not sitting at a bank. Maybe 3 or 4 billion is sitting at a bank. So Tether is clearly running a fractional reserve because they claim they got, scammed or it got confiscated or whatever. But Tether can still function. Trust me. Okay, so let me give you a scenario. Tether, the company, is not supposed to be profiting from the creation of new Tether. Tether, the company, is supposed to be profiting from a fee on maintaining Tether. And that fee is pretty small. Now, because it's like the fee on an ETF. So if you look at SPY spec. Oh, God. ETF spec. Okay. So if we look at the spec sheet for the S&P 500 and we look at the management fee. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Expenses, ratios, and fees. I thought it was smaller than that. Well, that's because that's not SPY. No, wait, it is SPY. Anyway, hold on. Let's do another search. SPY maintenance fee. This is why you shouldn't be Googling on live air. Anyway, I thought the maintenance fee was 0.05%, something small, 0.05%. If we look at Grayscale, if we look at GBTC spec, the annual fee right there, annual fee 2%. They make it very clear. I don't know why I'm having trouble finding the annual fee for the S&P. This is how GBTC makes money. Saying that Tether prints money is like saying that GBTC prints Bitcoin. It's just not true. It's not true. Now they could do it. They could scam. They could be running a scam. But if you believe that GBTC is not printing new Bitcoin, then or publicly printing new shares. Like every share of GBTC on the market is backed by this number of Bitcoin in that share. But Grayscale, the company, is collecting 2% annually. They take this every day. They take a little bit of money every day. So over time, when this thing started, one share of GBTC represented 1/10 of a Bitcoin. And then they rebalanced it, whatever. But if they never had their reverse split, over like 50 years goes by, and that 0.1 Bitcoin backing every GBTC share slowly erodes to 0.05 Bitcoin backing every GBTC. But that's because they're taking 2% a year for management. Now, Grayscale is taking 2% for management. The S&P 500, or we can also check MCO. VLO. VLO management fee. I don't know why I can't find the SPY. VOO, sorry. Long morning. God, I don't know why I'm struggling finding these things. It's supposed to be simple. VOO Vanguard management fee. It's a similar ETF to fees. Thank you. S&P 500 ETF. Boom. Management fee. Expense 0.03%. So what Grayscale charges you 2% a year, the guys at Vanguard are only charging you 0.03% a year to maintain the ETF. Now, I don't know what Tether's management fee is. I mean, I'm sure you can look it up. Maybe it doesn't have one. Because I know that Tether also makes money by charging you a fee to turn in your Tether to them and take the cash. And they charge you a fee for that. So that's how Tether makes money. Tether doesn't make money by creating new Tether out of thin air. That's insane. That is insane, guys. Now, you can argue that they are doing that, and that would be a scam. That would absolutely be a scam. Okay? But if Tether is functioning the way their website describes them to be functioning, they are not a scam. But there is a matter of, like, I don't know, 72% backed, right? So Tether is now 74% backed or something, right? That was the big headline. The USDT stablecoin is only about 74% backed by fiat equivalent as of April 30th. I think this was last year. Okay, so that's a problem. What happened? This is last year, right? So you got to check what's the backing on that? And this is what the New York Attorney General is trying to figure out. How backed are they? Now, an acceptable backing percentage would be something like 95%. Now, why do I say that Tether? Why do I say that it's okay for Tether to be backed like 95% instead of 100%? Well, that's because just like the S&P 500 ETFs, there is a management fee involved. And if that management fee is, let's say, 1% a year, then and Tether's been around for 5 years or more, that means you are losing 1% of that backing every year. And that will eventually catch up. But that does not explain why it's only 74% backed. And that's what you got to figure out. What's going on? Now, they claimed that, a lot of that money was seized by Poland or whatever. And there was, some company in Canada that stole the Bitcoin. But I'm not sure why they even had Bitcoin, because they should not be involved in Bitcoin at all. Like, Tether shouldn't have any Bitcoin exposure. It should be we're creating Tethers from putting US dollars in the bank. There should be no Bitcoin involved. And then tethers are used to trade Bitcoin on unregulated exchanges and move around. Like tethers should not touch Bitcoin at all at any point. They should have nothing to do with Bitcoin other than being on top of the Bitcoin network. And they may need some liquid Bitcoin for transaction fees. Okay. But the user is going to be paying those transaction fees. But Tether should not be touching Bitcoin. That's like breaking multiple laws at once. Like, that's not their job. That's not what they do. But yeah, that's another good tangent I just went on. I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. We still have 1,500 viewers, so that's good. Hit the like button, guys. Look, if you agree with what I just said about Tether, hit the like button. If you disagree with what I just said about Tether, hit the dislike button. I know a lot of people hate Tether, but if you look at, and there's lots of shadiness about how it started, and there's lots of shadiness about how it's operated. But if you look at how Tether is supposed to operate, it's not a scam, at least not on paper, at least not the way it's designed. Every single ICO is a lot scammier from the inception of their white paper than Tether was. Hey guys, grab that hash rate question in there as well. Wow, I got a lot of questions now. And maybe I'll have Bitfinex on again one day and we can keep talking about this. Yeah, so I don't see Tether as anything like the Federal Reserve. You know, Seth, thank you so much for your super chat. And that is a very good comment. But here's the problem, and I will read you just jumped the line. You mentioned on recent streams, you aren't sure how to monetize focusing on Bitcoin evangelism instead of trading. I suspect you can get a small group of Bitcoin whales to support you. Might be worth trying and see. So there's two problems with that. One, I pissed off more Bitcoin whales than probably anyone in the space. A lot of them don't like me. Second, if I take money from Bitcoin whales, or if I take direct money from anyone, I would potentially no longer be impartial and independent. So I can't do that. I would feel that I'm now beholden to someone paying me, and the community would not accept it. So it's kind of like Blockstream getting funded by private institutions like ASA. It's the same thing. Like I can't go through that nightmare of defending why I'm taking money from X person or why I'm taking money from X or from company X. So unfortunately, that's not going to work. All right. Next. Toner moderators, any good websites to understand Bitcoin better? You know, I need to put together a list. If you look at my video description, there are some websites listed there, but I put that list together like 3 years ago. So I don't know if they're still good. I'm sorry. I really wish I had the time to build out like a resource section of understanding Bitcoin website. Look, we have a website. I have a great domain, understandingbtc.com. It doesn't get better than that. I wanted understanding Bitcoin, but someone had it and it would be too long. I have understandingbtc.com. I would love to put a tab here, to teach people Bitcoin. Something like bitcoin.org, something like simpler, cooler looking, but that requires time and money and resources, but most importantly, time. Like I'm willing to fund it myself to get it done. But it's time. Time is like the most precious commodity I have, and it's unfortunate. But yes, I would love to have a section of understanding Bitcoin. And these were all the speakers from last year's event, by the way. I would love to have a section to educate people about Bitcoin right on this site. But if I trust someone else to do it, I have to manage them. I don't have time to manage them. And I know a lot of people are about to volunteer to do it, but having a bunch of volunteers isn't ideal either. I don't have a good solution yet, but it is something I would love to do. All right, let's go back to the price. See what's going on. Still moving nicely. I got so many questions. I don't know how long I keep this video going, though. I'll try to answer them shorter. If we break 10,000 clean, will you double down as if it went to 6K, or would you just reinvest what you sold at 9K? I'd probably just reinvest what I sold at 9K. And sell the new top and wait for a pullback. That's exactly what I would do. I would want to hold off on that double down. You see, because if we break 10K, I am still not confident we're not going to pull back to 6K. And I want to save my capital to double down if we fall. Because if I buy in at 10K, I'll be willing to hold it back to 6K and then double down. But that's my personal strategy. Or if I notice a top, I would sell and then try to buy the pullback. But I am still not convinced we're going to break 10K. I'm still not convinced. It needs to prove it to me. The price needs to prove it to me. Tone, can you check NDRA chart? Wasn't going to look at individual stocks, but NDRA. Never heard of it. What the hell happened here? Yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's topping soon. I'm still bullish, though. I'm still bullish. You have room to the upside, but the overall market matters more than individual stocks. The overall market matters the most. And the overall market, I feel, is going to top any day now. Any day, any minute, any hour. I think the S&P is getting ready to top this week or early next week. And this week, I ain't have much room left. Tone, are you going to watch the SpaceX shuttle launch? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not fascinated by rockets flying into space. I've seen that in 100 movies. I don't see why it's going to be any different. I won't. I'll find something more productive to do with my time. Tone, can you comment on Friday's Bitcoin futures and options expirations? Half of all open interest is set to expire. Is there a way to understand the composition of contracts? I mean, there is definitely not something I'm going to get into on this channel, and I'm probably not even the expert to get into that. I just know how to trade options, and I teach people how to trade options. I teach as much about the inner workings of options as I can, but there are people that know that stuff better than me. How does GBTC store Bitcoin? Very carefully. What if they get hacked? That is a problem. Yes, that is the concern. What if they get hacked? What if they are like Tether and they announce that instead of being 80% or 90% backed by Bitcoin, though technically they're 100% backed by Bitcoin, your share is just losing value. Instead of them saying they're 100% backed by Bitcoin, each share, they now got hacked. Well, it would probably mean the end of their product. They would have to return the shares. I don't know. They might have insurance. I'm sure they have insurance to prevent them from being hacked. I'm sure they go to great lengths to prevent it from being hacked. So your question is as follows. You're saying, how does GBTC store Bitcoin? What if they get hacked? How does a nuclear power plant prevent the people around the nuclear power plant from dying? Right? It's the same question. Very carefully with smart engineers. It's the same answer, right? Very carefully with smart people. They have I don't know who their custodians are. You can look it up. I'm sure it's public knowledge, not too public, but I'm sure maybe they're doing it alongside Fidelity. Maybe the Winklevi twins of Gemini are involved. I don't know. Maybe Barry Silbert's company is holding it themselves. I don't know what their security methods are, but I'm sure they're very good, and because that's their like livelihood, right? I mean, like their company will literally go out of business if it gets hacked. Good question. All right. Is there any possible circumstance that hash rate dips down to your support line and price does not go down to 6K? Well, it's not hash rate, right? So you're confusing two charts, sir. You are confusing the hash rate chart with the miner profitability chart. The miner profitability has nothing to do with hash rate. This chart is the reflection of the price of Bitcoin. So this is how much Bitcoin miners earn every day on average. And unless, we happen to be an unlucky situation where blocks aren't being found, or too many blocks are being found in a single day, then this chart could kind of deviate. But this chart follows the price of Bitcoin very carefully. And if the blocks are being found every 10 minutes, we will touch this yellow line if the price of Bitcoin is 6,000. This is independent of the Bitcoin hash rate. They're completely independent from each other. Now, of course, if the Bitcoin price goes to 6,000, we're going to see a huge drop in Bitcoin's hash rate because a lot of miners will no longer be profitable. So they will come off the network. All right, guys. Honestly, I think I'm done. I don't know if I can do any more of these. I have another on Andres. You asked. Oh, there it is. All right. Let me get your questions here. Thank you so much for the super chat. It looks like you are in the Czech Republic. Tone, I want to recommend you my last question. It was for the smooth moving average to daily chart BLX with value 1460, 4 years in days in log scale. Look at the wicks. Okay, yeah, I can take a look at that. All right. So SMMA on, what do we got? On daily BLX? I don't have a daily BLX. I can on log scale. So I can take the weekly. All right. We'll use the monthly. I'll convert the monthly to a daily. I will then look for an indicator for SMMA. And I don't see it. So what do I do? If I can't easily find the indicator you're looking for? Smooth. See, this is the problem of asking me something that I just don't know, that I just don't use, because now it's hard for me to do it on live air, and getting me to do it on my time is going to be even a bigger challenge. Smooth moving average. All right, let's use this. It's added. I will turn off my triple moving average. I will then adjust it. So first of all, we're going to make the line thicker so I can see it better. And we're going to change this to 1460. And it's gone. Where did it go? See, this is already not interesting to me. It's not interesting to me because it's only touching 2 points. And 2 points is not enough for me to use any TA on. I always need more than 2 points. If you can get me a line that touches this, 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 and that is a lot more interesting. And that's why I still prefer the 200. Well, that's probably not the 200. I think it's set up for, it's not 200. It's set up for monthly charts. So it's easy to create a line that only touches 2 points. You don't need a smooth moving average for 4 years. Like, you can have a dozen other options to do this. This is not interesting to me. It's just not enough. It's not enough. It's also not useful. Look, this average has not been useful at all between after touching it. It has not been useful from January 2015 until like yesterday. Like it's just not useful. Like, who does that help? How does it help? How does it help you at any point between January 20 from, let's say, February 2015 all the way to the top? Like, it's just not useful at all. Not to mention, you couldn't even draw this until after the fact that this touched. And this is why I don't like these obscure random things. Okay. I also haven't looked at my new favorite time frame of 479-minute candles. Let's see how they're doing. Again, talk about randomness. Waiting for counts. Still got room to the upside. You know, maybe in a few days. This is close to 8 hours. So I got about a day and a half to go. Maybe a day to go. Less than a day. Could top again. It's been doing good. All right, guys. That's it. That's it for me. I'm already getting tired. It's been over an hour. It's time to end. We still have 1,000 live viewers, so thank you. Hey, please support. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. And check out the affiliate page if you want to support. Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. Still in isolation. Day 70. Day 70. Stay at home. Day 70. You can see that people are getting very upset and all these riots are now starting. I know it would. I know it started because of a cop killing someone, but it was the frustration that people are experiencing. And I think the civil unrest and the violence will only get worse. And that's mostly because of the shutdown. And the economy is going to be even worse. So be careful out there, everyone. Bye.